Hi guys, how's it going? So today's episode is gonna be a little bit different from what it used to be. Normally I do a live commenting, but this episode took me 2.5 hours to record, so I needed to short it down a lot. So I'll be just doing a voiceover for this episode. But as you can see, we're still in Slateport City. I forgot a few stuff what I was doing from the last episode, so I just went around and made sure everything looked in order. Just made sure that I had spoken to all the people here in the city, and just made sure, yeah, as I said, we're going around a little bit everywhere and just checking out stuff so we don't miss out on anything. But I think I also spoke with all of the people here in the city before I ended episode 2, but yeah, as I said, I wanted to be freshed up a little bit. But as you can see, we head on into the museum with Team Aqua here. So we're gonna talk to this guy, and then we will be battling Team Aqua to try and continue our story in this little journey that we have. And let me tell you guys, this was an absolute pain for me. They started off with the lock kicks, just one-shotting my entire team almost all the time. So right here we can see we lose our Chameleon straight away. I think I'll send in Downfan right here. I think he's gonna get one-shotted as well, or maybe if we were able to get first, I don't know. Nope, we were able to go first, but lock kicks just does so much good damage on me. And then I don't know who he sends in, because I spent like 3 hours in total between the different gym battles that we're gonna do in a little bit later. So then he brings in Quillfish. Literally, I think this is the guy that one-shots my whole team. So I try to do this, but he just keeps poisoning me. I tried to put in the leech seed, but since I'm not using any potions or anything, this makes it a lot harder. So we get poisoned almost every time with the barrage that he's doing. So we can see how hard it is for me to get any place goes, because everything is super effective up against me. And also we've lost like more than half our team. Slowpoke is poisoned, almost dead. And then we have Execute, and then we only have one more guy still alive. And we need to do back-to-back fights with this guy. And then he has this Golly Spot, Sopod, and guys, this freaking guy one-shotted my entire team so many times. I have literally no idea what happened. So right here I took a little bit of a pause when I was doing this, because I needed to think who do I want to send in. So I ended up sending in Gligar. But yeah, Gligar is not going to do anything up against this guy. You can see just getting one-shotted over and over again. So I'm not going to include all the losses. You can see right now we went straight in, we lost again. We went in again, lost again. So I did this for literally 30-40 minutes. So then I just decided, okay, well, I'm just gonna make sure I edit all of the losses out, because I spent almost an hour on this battle until I finally got it right. So I brought in Gligar to do the acrobatics, because he was able to kill off lock kicks pretty decently. So I decided to have him as my starter. And now for Quillfish, we'll keep doing the acrobatics, but he always dies off. And in the off screen, I decided to go for Into the Route and get my 6 Pokemon. So we got Toxicity. I don't know if I pronounced his name right, but you will see he's gonna have a huge impact on this episode as a whole. So you can see there we have him right here. So I decided to have him as a second, because bringing him out to do the Spark and get the Paralyze on Roy Spot was quite nice. And then unfortunately every time he died up against Quillfish, but it is what it is, because I had the strategy that I wanted to do. At this point I was figuring out who I want to use. Do I want to sacrifice someone? So I decided to bring in Downfan in the hope that he could take a turn before. So he ended up bringing out his Toad. I can't pronounce that name correct either, I think, but Execute was really our main guy with the leech seeds and Mega Drains. So I tried to cheese this as much as possible, but you can see almost every attack with Gollis so far was super effective against me. Luckily Charmeleon was able to get a pretty decent hit in. We did a Fire Fang to try and get it flinched, didn't get it, and luckily for us he just used a throw chop and no water abilities, so Charmeleon was able to finally get the job done, and then this literally took 30-40 minutes for me to get through this starting. And then when I saw this guy, I literally started panicking because I thought, oh no, am I gonna have to do a third battle? But luckily we didn't need to do that because he would just wanted to talk a little bit with me. But yeah guys, I literally shat my pants when I saw this guy walk up to me, because I thought, yeah, now I'm screwed, here comes the third battle. But luckily we could move on from this phase, and this is why this game is considered one of the hardest games out there, besides Radical Red. And as you can see, we increased our level cap to 32, and I decided to save the game just in case. And then I just made sure everything was looking good in here, just to see so we don't miss out on any stuff, because I don't want to miss out on any good items or HMs or TMs, depending on whether or not we could find something here, because the guy told us that I could check out the museum if I wanted to, but I mean, I lost so much money over here. And then we just go ahead and went to talk with a few different dudes that came up to me just after the battle was done, so nothing too crazy. We added this guy to our Pokénav, I think, so we'll see who this guy is later on in the story. But yeah, for now, just went straight into the Poke Center to heal up my broken team, because holy crap, those guys were able to take a beating. We then continued on out to Route 110, where we met Professor Birch again. Just spoke a little bit briefly with me and he just told me that to look out for May a little bit ahead. So we just kept on going. First of all, we took care of these two fools, so we're just standing there with Plus and Minun, so made sure we got through this pretty smoothly. It took me a few tries, not gonna lie, but eventually we got through it, so nice. In between, we went straight into the Poke Center to heal up the team before we continued down the route. And then, as we can see, we found May lurking around. So she had a Crobat. I've already done one battle before this, so my Donphan was already a little bit hurt. But I thought maybe I could pull it through. So she has a Crobat. We bring in the Toxic Tricity. We do the Spark. It's super effective. It's very nice. We get her down, which was perfect. Charmeleon get to level 32. So then I thought I could do the Spark, but for some reason I couldn't do it up against Marshtomp because he prevented it. So we bring in Execute, which is also very cheesy on me. I love using my grass Pokemon up against water types. But yeah, then she brought out this Sligo guy. And not gonna lie, we struggled a little bit up against him, but we later found a great way to deal with her. And as you can see, the Bulldoze was super effective. We made her fall asleep with our Yawn, Slowpoke, and we keep on decreasing her speed, but she was lucky enough to wake up and be faster than my Slowpoke and kill me off. So we brought in Gligar to do the acrobatics. I was hoping he could do it in one hit. She got out of a Water Pulse, couldn't even get it down with a U-turn. So at this point I was like, yeah, I'm cooked at this point, so just bring in Charmeleon, just do whatever. So we did a 5-fan, we got it down. She has 3 Pokemons left, so I was pretty sure we were gonna lose this one. So he does the Bulldoze. We'll try the cheese again with Execute. Probably should have done the Leech Seed over there, because probably should have figured that he was gonna switch out his Marshtomp or her Marshtomp when I brought in my Execute. So at this point I'm just sending in my team because I know I'm gonna lose. Because we had Donphan already at 7 health only when we went into this battle, so very annoyed about that. I think if I had him at full health, this would have been a pretty easy battle for my team. So then we have the Rapidash over here. Charmeleon is doing pretty well with the Thunder Punches, so they didn't have any special thing that was really super effective. So then I tried the Thunder Punch again, but then I forgot that it's not gonna work up against Marshtomp. So yeah, we lost to May, we went into the Poke Center. As you can see, we came back. I switched out Donphan to bring in Toxtricity as our first Pokemon when we going up against May now for the second time. So went straight up here again. As you can see, we found a Toxel, which I didn't record when I actually caught him. Or did record it, but I didn't actually include it in the game footage. But yeah, we switched in Toxicity as the first guy because we'll be using Spark up against his her Crocspact, and we were able to kill him off pretty comfortably. We also gained a new ability, Toxic, which is going to come in clutch in the gym battle that we see in here a little bit later. But yeah, Marshtomp come in, one shot of my team with Toxicity. We'll bring in Execute, we'll inflict the Leech Seed, which is always very cheesy. So when he brings in Rapidash, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna play this game with you. I'll bring in Slowpoke and try and get this done as fast as possible. So we do the Water Pulse, and she's like, no, I'm gonna play this game with you. She brings in Sligo, and at this point I'm like, yeah, okay, let's inflict her with Yawn at least. And she takes her away. Then she brings in Marshtomp again, and I'm figuring, let's try and get it confused with a Water Pulse. Couldn't really get it, and yeah, she ended up killing him off. So we brought in Execute again, and she withdrew Marshtomp once again. So we got the Will-O-Wisp here on Execute, which is a little bit annoying, but it shouldn't be really an issue once we have the Leech Seed on. So she brings in Sligo. At this point I'm like, yeah, let's just keep Charmeleon for this battle. Let's try and do Fire Fang and try and see if we can get a few flinches. Unfortunately couldn't get it, so we brought in Donphan instead. Once Charmeleon started going down, we did Stomping Tantrum, which is super effective, so that one went pretty well for us. She brings in Kopfu. I'm not too sure what I did, but I think I brought in Gligar after Charmeleon, because I think I did only one hit and did pretty big damage on him. So then I brought in Gligar, thought he's probably going to be faster, so let's do an Acrobatics, super effective, and down goes Kufu. So at this point I'm like, yeah, this should definitely be a win. But then he does, he one hits my Gligar. But yeah, we have Execute, so I was pretty confident that we're going to be able to get through this battle pretty comfortably. So yeah, Rapidash comes out. We inflict her with Leech Seeds, so even though Execute dies off, we should at least steal a little bit of health away from her. So we bring in Donphan, and Donphan carries this battle home. We just do one rollout, I think one or two rollouts, and we were able to smash her into pieces, which I was pretty happy about, considering how the other battles took me quite a while, especially the Team Aqua duo. I mean, I don't know how many times we lost, but we got the HM to fly, which is going to be very, very nice for us. But that means that we can fly to any city or any town that we choose off here in the future, which will be really, really, really nice. So yeah, we talk a little bit more with May, and then we just continue our journey forward here on Route 110, I think it is. So we got a nice few stuff as well, a lot of new moves. Didn't use too many of those, but it's always nice to have. So yeah, we spoke with her, we increased the level cap to 34, beat those trainers, and then we found an Axew, and I was like, yeah, we definitely need to get ourselves an Axew, because this guy is just way too OP in the higher levels, and when he does evolve into his higher Pokemon evolutions as well. So I was afraid that I couldn't hit him, because I thought we would kill him off. So I decided to just try and do rollout and hopefully don't do too much damage. So we were lucky enough to only do 2 times, and then we missed the third one, which was great, because then we got him into the red. And as you can see, in the 3rd or 4th Pokeball we were able to catch him. So that was very, very nice, very happy about that, great addition to the team. After that we just continue down this route, beat some other trainers, and then we come up against this guy right here with the Executor, and I was like, not again, I mean Executor, maybe that's a better pronunciation, I don't know. So straight off the bat he smashes my Donphan. I thought Charmeleon was gonna be able to one-hit it, but yeah, doesn't look like he was able to carry it home. They brought it Heat more, I was like, yeah, this should be pretty easy for our Slowpoke. And then all of a sudden we have a Giga Drain, so I was like, yeah, screw this is probably gonna take me forever again. We brought in Toxicity, trying to land a few sparks on him, and his Heat more was really OP. Couldn't really do too much up against him. So as you can see, we also have Axew in here, so I ended up taking out Gligar. But you will see throughout this episode, I'll bring him back in and forth a few times. So we did a few Thunder Punches up against him now, worked out pretty well. They sent out a Machoke, so yeah, and then he had the Rock Slide, and at this point it was basically GG. So at least now I knew what Pokemon he had, but we came back and we lost again and again and again and until finally I got it to work. This battle took me around 20 minutes to get my head around, so we brought Gligar back just because to try and get rid of the Executor with the acrobatics. So they brought out my Execute, so we tried to do a Bolt Seed, and luckily I think I got 5 hits. No, I only got 2. But luckily, yeah, they did another attack, so I brought out my Charmeleon. At this point I was like, yeah, let's just do the Thunder Punches with Charmeleon up against Heatmore to try and bring his HP down a little bit. At this point I bring out Toxtricity, I think I do, yeah. And just to do the Sparks, and I don't know, I think also Toxic. I think I did the Toxic first, so just to try and work him down slowly but surely. And as you can see, he's almost able to one-hit my Toxtricity. I have so much trouble saying his name. But yeah, as you can see, should have been an issue right now for Gligar to come out there, do one attack because I thought we were gonna be faster, but yeah, we quite weren't. Normally my Gligar is normally the fastest guy on my team, but we did a pretty big hit up against his Machoke, and he did a Drain Punch, but it wasn't too much HP left on our Gligar, so it didn't matter too much. Then we did a Water Pulse, we get Confusion, nice, and he hurts himself, killed himself off, and then we just had the Belly Bolt. And this one was very annoying. I needed to use Execute so many times, do the Leech Seed, try and get the Sleep Powder, and then do Giga Drain as many times as possible. So very cheesy. I cheesed through this guy a lot of times, so luckily finally we landed the Sleep Powder, and now we can start regaining some health, because we went all the way down into the orange or the yellow, which is pretty low, and as you can see he had a berry as well, so he went back into the green. But yeah, very annoying battle, not gonna lie, it took me forever. I was so pissed because it literally took me 20 minutes just to get through that battle. But as you can see, finally we went into the new city, and at this point I was so scared about talking to anyone. But yeah, definitely just went out and checked with a few guys. Just wanted to get straight into the Poké Center, heal up my team, and make sure I saved, because once I came this far, it had been around like 1.5 hours because of how hard all the battles were. So yeah, once we went into the city, just made sure we checked with everyone. So we got ourselves 2 different bikes here on the bike store, which is pretty nice. So the Mac bike and the Acrobike, and then of course I just made sure I spoke with everyone. I came into this house, we got Rock Smash, which was pretty nice, another HM, and then we spoke to this guy who literally perfected all of our Pokemon to make them perfect IV. So that was pretty cool, not gonna lie. I don't know if this is considered cheating, but since I think all the trainers that we're facing have perfect IV on their Pokemons, I think it's only fair that we have them as well. So I just made sure he perfected all of the IV on the Pokemons that we currently have. And then I just made sure I spoke to the other 2 guys here on the side, as you will see here in a second as well. So we spoke with them. They also offered pretty decent stuff, but I decided that the only thing I wanted to do was just get the perfect IV. But yeah, as you can see, these guys do offer some stuff as well. Just wanted to make sure what this was, but yeah, we didn't do anything because as you can see, we could change the type, which would have been a little bit too OP in my opinion, so we decided not to do it. And this guy also gave me a stat editor. Didn't really offer anything else, but we at least got the stat editor, which is pretty nice. So pretty cool stuff. So after this we just went around a little bit and came back to the gym. As you can see, we're facing another guy right here, Wally, and I was expecting this battle to be crazy tough, so annoying, but yeah, we were able to get it in one go, guys. Spoiler alert. But no, as you can see, we still struggle a little bit with Dreadnought up against Gligar, so we did a U-turn just to make sure we get another Pokemon out so we don't need to lose him. I decided to do the Yawn with Slowpoke, but yeah, then we actually were able to survive with only 1 HP, so we got a little bit lucky getting his Dreadnought out straight away. Then he brought in his Gardevoir. Slowpoke was gonna die no matter what, so just figure, yeah, let's just kill him off. At this point, I brought in Donphan, trying to get a few big hits out there with his Stomping Tantrum. Luckily, we almost took her out in one hit. I think if we get a critical hit, we should definitely be able to pull her out. And I can see my Charmeleon starting to do some decent work. I can't wait to get him to become a Charizard, so hopefully we'll get him in the next episode. But yeah, we did a 5 frag up in Skarmory. I did do a few misplays. I don't know why I tried to do a Toxic, because I knew that wasn't really affecting him, but we did a Spark, which is super effective because he's a flying type as well, so that was pretty cool. And then he brought in Cricketune, and he had Boldoos, which really surprised me, but a lot of these guys have a lot of crazy stuff. But we brought out Gligar super fast. We did an Acrobatics, was able to one-hit Wally. Pretty cool. So he went back to his city, which we'll probably see him in a few episodes later on. We spoke to this guy as well, who spoke to Wally before we could head on into the gym. Then this guy came back again. He wanted to have a chat with me, the future champion. But yeah, guys, not gonna lie, this game is extremely hard. So we went back into the Poké Center before we went on over into the gym. I think I also save it right here because don't want anything happen. As you can see, it's gonna be a electric type gym, so very annoying, especially since we don't have a lot of stuff that can counter electric type. So that's why we brought in Donphan here at the start. So we faced these two fellas right from the get-go. Wasn't really any issues, so we did use Donphan. As I said, we used Charmeleon as well because that's the two guys we only have. Well, that was the first two guys we had. So as you can see, do a Fire Fang. Nice, we're gonna get pulled through this one pretty easily since most of these guys are only at level 27 and we have reached our cap at 34. So as you can see, we're also getting 0 XP at this point, so we're able to get through this pretty comfortably. They brought in this guy as well, Alcrane. I think I pronounced that name right as well. But as you can see, pretty easy, and we went straight on over to the big boss after this, just so we could see what types of Pokemon he was gonna have. As you can see, we have a Luxray, and guys, this Luxray was insane. So we have the Dean right here. Did Hidden Power, super effective against my Donphan, but we were able to one-hit it. And then he brings out a Luxray, and look at this, guys, he Mega Evolves straight away. And he was so OP. It took me such a long time to get through this. I literally spent 1 hour on this gym, and as you can see, Luxray just keeps on one-hitting my team. I can't really get a turnout. Everything is super effective. So yeah, I really did struggle the first few rounds until I finally got the strategy to work. As you can see, we just keep on losing again and again. With Axew, I just tried him as well, and then we'll lose again. So I probably lost 10 or 20 more times than this, but eventually I got the right setup. So we went with Gligar as a starter just to do the Boldoos and made sure he learned it, to be able to decrease the Dean's speed and kill her off with having some super effective. I accidentally pushed the wrong button. I pushed run, but we want to bring in Toxtricity, so we want to land that Toxic on her to make sure we get the poison so she takes damage every turn. We also put in the acid because that really helped us out a lot, and she was able to heal up a little bit with Roost, and now she brings in Luxray. So normally I was trying to get either Toxic or one hit of Acid on Luxray before he went into Mega Luxray. Then we bring in Donphan because he has Stomping Tantrum, which is normally gonna be almost close to a full hit. So we got rid of Mega Luxray, which was crazy good for us. Slowpoke was literally just a sacrificial lamb. I know he was gonna die off straight away. The only reason we did this because we can bring in Gligar, we can knock off that stuff he had on him, make him a little bit weaker. We could bring in Charmeleon, do a few Fire Fangs because we were faster than him. And now he brings out this bird again, so we switch on over back to Execute. He was also a little bit of a sacrificial lamb, unfortunately, in this one. He has been my main guy normally, but for this one he took a little bit of a beating. So not gonna lie, when we went this far and Donphan survived that hit, I was so happy, but he still had a Vikavolt. And when I saw Donphan's Fire Fang did that little damage, I was sure that Charmeleon was gonna not hit it. But when he one-hitted that Flame Burst, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I was jumping up and down celebrating when that Flame Burst went in and one-hit him. I was so in shock, I was so happy. So as you can see, we beat the third gym. We got a lot of stuff. We got a Luxray, we got a few Mega Stones, which is gonna be very nice going forward. We got the Volt Switch as well, which I'm probably gonna teach to Toxicity because that's gonna be very, very good for him. We also increased the level cap to 34, and straight after this I just made sure I went straight into Saved It. So yeah guys, this is going to be it for this episode. I mean, this was such a crazy episode, so many stuff for me, and I'm super happy I finally got through it, and I can't wait to actually try it out more. But yeah guys, if you like this way of doing it, please let me know in the comments section below, and this is gonna be it for me. Have a great day. Bye bye.